What if I told you one of the biggest power moves in recent Formula One history might already be in motion, and it doesn't involve a driver, an engineer, or even a team principal still on the grid? We're talking about Christian Horner. Yes, that Christian Horner, possibly returning to F1 ownership just months after his dramatic exit from Red Bull. And the twist? He's not doing it alone. Reports are surfacing that none other than Bernie Ecclestone, the former godfather of Formula One, is set to partner with Horner in a potential purchase of the Alpine F1 team. It sounds like fiction, but more and more, it's beginning to look like a reality in the making. The rumor caught fire thanks to a report from the Spanish outlet Confidential and was later echoed on the Race F1 podcast, where it was taken seriously enough to spark major paddock conversations. Apparently, the two men are in serious talks, not casual, not exploratory, serious, to make a run at acquiring Alpine. It's the kind of news that doesn't just shake the paddock, it splits it open. And if you're wondering whether this is just tabloid noise, think again. According to these same reports, it was Bernie who made the first call to Horner right after he parted ways with Red Bull. Bernie, at 94 years old, is apparently not done with F1 yet. He's been in Horner's corner since the early days when Christian helped bring Red Bull onto the grid back in 2005. That shared history could be the foundation of one of the most surprising power pairings the sport has seen in decades. Now think about the implications. Horner's drive and strategic mind, combined with Bernie's political clout and deep F1 roots, could lead to an entirely new power center on the grid. That's not just a rumor. That's a warning shot to every other team. And we're only getting started here. Quick question for you. Would you trust a team owned by Horner and Ecclestone to run your favorite F1 outfit? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're into stories that go beyond the headlines and dive into what's really happening in F1, make sure to hit subscribe. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love for you to be part of the team. Let's talk about why Alpine might be the perfect target for this bold takeover. On the surface, Alpine is a factory-backed team with a rich motorsport legacy and solid infrastructure. But dig a little deeper, and it becomes clear why this team, more than others, might be vulnerable to a buyout. Alpine isn't just struggling on the track, they're floundering at the leadership level too. In just the last 3 years, Alpine has gone through 6 different team principals. That kind of turnover is more than just a red flag. It's a crisis of identity. In Formula One, consistency is everything. It affects driver confidence, development timelines, technical cohesion, even sponsorship stability. And right now, Alpine is showing none of it. That makes it ripe for a reset, and possibly a sale. Now here's where it gets even more intriguing. Flavio Briatore, the former Renault team boss with a very colorful F1 past, recently made a surprise return in an advisory role. A lot of insiders are saying this isn't just a coincidence. Some believe Briatore's return is a move to prepare the team for a change in ownership, essentially setting the table for someone else to come in and take over. Add in rumors that Renault CEO Luca De Meo may be preparing to step down, and you've got a picture of a team standing at a major crossroads. Alpine's struggles go beyond the boardroom too. Performance-wise, they've been wildly inconsistent. Driver turnover hasn't helped, and there are reports of internal dysfunction affecting everything from engineering focus to team morale. For someone like Horner, who thrives in structured, results-driven environments, that chaos might actually be the attraction. A blank canvas, a chance to rebuild and reshape the team from the top down. And let's be real, if you're Renault, you might be looking at this whole situation and thinking, maybe a clean exit isn't such a bad idea after all. With team valuations soaring, the timing might be perfect to sell while interest, and the price tag is high. So let me ask you, do you think Alpine is just going through growing pains? Or are they actually primed for a total reboot? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and hey, if you're still with me, you clearly love F1 drama as much as I do. So hit that like button. It helps this video reach more fans like you. Now let's talk about what this Horner and Ecclestone partnership would really mean, not just for Alpine, but for Formula One as a whole. On their own, each name carries massive weight in the paddock. But together, that's a potential game changer, not just in business terms, but in how the team might operate, how politics would shift behind the scenes, and how influence would be used both on and off the track. Christian Horner has always been known as a shrewd, ambitious figure. He's aggressive when it comes to strategy, sharp with the media, and relentless in pursuit of results. He turned Red Bull from a midfield hopeful into a four-time championship powerhouse, and later helped lay the foundation for their current dominance with Verstappen. You can't argue with his track record, even if you don't always agree with his methods. Then you've got Bernie Ecclestone. The man is 94, but don't let that fool you. His knowledge of the sport's inner workings is unmatched. He knows everyone. He's been part of nearly every major negotiation that shaped modern F1. And even though he's no longer officially in charge, his network and influence haven't vanished. If anything, he's now free to operate without the constraints of office. Together, they bring two very different but complementary strengths. Horner brings the modern team building and competitive edge. Bernie brings legacy, strategy, and the kind of quiet power that still matters when deals are made in private. It's the kind of combination that could finally give Alpine a focused vision, something they've clearly lacked. But here's where it gets interesting. If they do take over, would they completely tear down Alpine's French identity? Or try to integrate it into something new? Could it spark internal resistance, or would it unify a team that's been stuck in limbo? You tell me. Would this new leadership dynamic work? Or are they too old school, too dominant, to successfully share power and build a cohesive team? Also, if you want to stay locked into this unfolding drama, make sure to tap the bell icon. News like this develops fast, and you don't want to be the last to know. All right, let's get into the numbers. Because when you're talking about buying an F1 team, passion isn't enough. You need deep pockets, a sharp business sense, and political finesse. The rumored price tag for Alpine? A jaw-dropping $1.2 billion. That's not just monopoly money, that's serious investment, and it tells you how much F1 has changed in just the last 5 years. Team values have exploded. Thanks to the budget cap, the Liberty Media marketing push, and a global boom in interest, owning an F1 team is now seen as a high-upside asset, not just a cost sink. You're not just buying a race team, you're buying access to a global audience, massive brand exposure, and potentially hundreds of millions in prize money, sponsorships, and equity growth. And with Ecclestone reportedly helping bankroll the deal, the financial backing might already be there. The real question isn't just, can they buy it? It's when and how can they legally take control? That's where Horner's current contract comes in. Reports say he's still under binding agreement with Red Bull until January 2026. So even if the deal for Alpine is finalized soon, Christian might not be able to officially step in as a team owner until next season, or later. That means we're looking at a slow burn transition, not an overnight takeover. And you can bet behind closed doors there are already political chess moves being made. Alpine, Renault, Briatore, they're all saying the team isn't for sale. But let's be honest. When a buyer with money and influence shows up, things can change fast in F1. Let me ask you this. Do you think Horner's contract will actually stop him from pulling the strings behind the scenes if the deal goes through? And if you're enjoying this insider-level breakdown of the business side of F1, drop a like. It really helps push this content to more hardcore fans like you and gets us closer to that 1,000 subscriber milestone. While the boardroom is buzzing with power plays, the racetrack served up its own shocker. George Russell snatching pole position at the Canadian Grand Prix. And not just by a slim margin, we're talking about a dead heat with Max Verstappen, down to the thousandth of a second. Same lap time, same pace. That's as close as it gets. It was a photo finish without the photo. Russell's reaction? Pure electricity. He called it one of the most thrilling laps of his life and said he could feel the delta improving through every corner. By the time he reached the final turn, he knew he had a monster lap coming together. You could hear it in his voice. This wasn't just another qualifying session. This was a statement. For Mercedes, this was more than a headline. It was a much-needed spark. Their form has been inconsistent at best this season, and while Canada's circuit has a unique layout that might have flattered their setup, it still showed what's possible. It showed they can fight. That's not just good news for Russell. It changes the mood in the entire garage. Now, there's a deeper question. Is this a sign that Mercedes is genuinely back in the hunt, or was it a one-off moment in the spotlight? If they can translate qualifying speed into race pace and start challenging Red Bull on Sundays, that would mark a major shift at the front of the grid. It also adds tension internally. Lewis Hamilton is still fighting, still hungry, but Russell grabbing pole, especially like this, shifts some of the spotlight. He's not a rising star anymore. He's a real threat. So, what do you think? Was this pole position a sign of things to come, or just Canada being Canada? And hey, if you're here for the racing just as much as the politics, make sure you hit subscribe. This channel is for fans who live for both sides of the sport, and we're only getting started this season.